You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
I want the people to know that they still have 2 out of 3 branches of the government working for them, and that ain't bad.
Okay, what happened in 1933 is critical to understand what our foundation is that is being built up to why we're here now, all knowing something's very wrong. There was a bankruptcy that was concocted right after the Great Depression, when many of our grandparents were still struggling to survive. And what happened was they were expatriated. They had no knowledge of this. They certainly did not give their consent. America's gold was stolen by the international bankers. Our gold and silver was stolen. And we were collateralized as a nation against this concocted debt. What was collateralized? Our property, our equity, our children, and our souls. Our souls. So I won't get into how the souls become collateralized because that's a different conversation. But you need to understand what moved forward from there, what the bankers created. And essentially, when you build upon the Senate Report 93549, which identifies all of you and me as enemies of the government, then you build upon the silent weapons document, which is a technical research manual that was put together in the 40s by the US Air Force, Rockefeller, the international bankers, and Harvard University. It is a manual that is intended for economic domination of the world and control of all energy. Now, energy is not what you think about, just PG&E and water and gas. It's your energy. We're all energy, and we're frequencies. And it's important to understand they plan to control it all. Now, they say in the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document that when you have a few wealthy people with the methodologies and the goal to control all energy on the planet, and they have not told us, it is considered a declaration of war. And so the Silent Weapons document is a declaration of war. In fact, William Cooper has it in the very front of his book, Behold a Pale Horse. And I would recommend that you read his book. He was killed for all of the reasons that he understood what was occurring. So the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document then builds upon the fact that you're all the enemy of the state, and now war has been declared. And I didn't believe that either. But I can tell you that the documents prove it. There are other documents beyond this as well. Okay, this is a quote out of the Silent Weapons Quiet Wars document. It says, an excerpt from page 7. The quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the mote of ignorance, insulating the inferior class from the superior class, is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class, all of us. With such an initial handicap, even the brighter, lower class individuals have little, if any, hope of extricating themselves from their assigned lot in life. This form of slavery is essential to maintain some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class. Now, the reason why the Silent Weapons document is so important is they wrote it, and it's in their words. And what I found with the research group that I'm involved with, we want to read their documents. This is what their plans are, and they tell us very bluntly. And they don't spare words, so you can see that they don't spare words. They're enslaving us by lack of knowledge. This is a flyer that we put together. It's really daunting because the Statue of Liberty is surrounded by rising seas. This is going to happen to you, they tell you, if you do not implement the climate action plans. There will be sea level rising, there will be massive droughts, storm events, and hunger and disease and illness. If you do not accept willingly the climate action plans, this is what they tell you, and we'll see that inside the plans themselves. But again, for sake of not being able to maybe read that, everything the corporations and international bankers have been doing is one gigantic fraud, and all of it at our expense. Disinformation and manipulation by the international bankers' corporate structure to centralize control of all people, land, energy, resources, technologies, and economies. We must expose the hidden secret of these corporations, universities, and institutions set to control all emerging technologies that will rebuild the world's transportation, civil, manufacturing, physical infrastructure with cyber infrastructure, computers, networks, and sensors. Now, many of you are noticing the cameras everywhere. They're on all the street corners, they're up the freeways, they're on buildings, they're everywhere. There's sensors everywhere. The surveillance in the United States has already imprisoned us. You can go to, you can look at Mount Weather, W-E-A-T-H-E-R. It is a underground facility that was built outside of Washington, D.C., about 47 miles outside of Washington, D.C. in the 50s. And it houses the intention to incarcerate every single one of us with data collection and tracking and monitoring and sensors. So what you're hearing Edward Snowden say right now is not a new revelation at all. We were told in the Silent Weapons document exactly what they intended to do.
You know what they put in the water, don't you? Fluoride. On the pretext that it strengthens your teeth. That's ridiculous.